gang, gang. Hey, nothing but love and respect. You might have some cool fans, but mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together till the grave. It's a game till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip in the hate. We got all the fuck in our veins, man. Me and my fans,
We the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey everyone, meteorologist Tuttle with you. Happy New Year's Eve. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening planned the rest of your day and getting ready for 2022. So thanks for joining me here. We're going to round out our year talking about the winter storm moving on in. And yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit of severe weather across southeast Oklahoma. More that action pushing into Arkansas. I see your comments there on YouTube. So Nikki wants to know if we can build a snowman. Probably not. Be very small and dirty snowman, but we'll see. We'll take a look at the data. And then Patrick wants to see Kansas. Yeah, we'll show you Kansas as well. Kind of give you a big picture. Diana's in the house on Facebook sending me some New Year's Eve stars. So thank you, Diana. Let's get on with the program, shall we? So first off, there's a Activate a Stars party. Kelly sending me some stars. So maybe you two ladies are the ones that did it. So on Facebook, there's apparently a stars party. I don't know what that means still, but it keeps popping up, so I'm liking it. All right, let's go to outside view so far. First off, clouds have rolled in, as you can tell. So we have a change in our weather. So it was a little bit milder last night and today as a result of the increase in clouds. It acts like a blanket in the atmosphere, traps the radiation from the surface from going back out into space. So it's like a turning on the atmospheric heater a little bit. Temperatures out there right now, we're at 63 degrees. So like I mentioned, that's a lot better than what it could be. But this time tomorrow, let's see, what are we, 12? Yeah, we're going to be about 33 degrees colder than this. So mark this down. You ready for about a 30-degree temperature drop? So yeah, this time tomorrow here in Oklahoma City, it's probably be more than that. It's going to be cold, man. All right, let's get on with the program here, shall we? We'll take a look. Oh, by the way, Christopher, I see you also throw me some stars, so thank you. Appreciate it. Let's head on into this map right here. All right, first thing we'll talk about, the storm system has a change in its upper level structure. So the first wave has not. All the bright colors represent lift in the atmosphere, and those are moving through as we head into late tonight into tomorrow. So the bulk of the heaviest lift, which is here in the brighter color shadings, moves through Saturday morning, and by Saturday afternoon it dwindles. We still have some residual energy because there's a broad upper trough, on its heels. So to kind of keep what we call the lift going, or the PVA, which is positive vorticity advection. But as we head into the evening hours, the next little piece of this will start to come through into central Oklahoma. So this is also a lot of energy associated with this. This is the bottom of the trough here. And we were hoping for it to get a closed off low. The American model still tries to do a hint of one at the last second over central Oklahoma. But otherwise, it's still kind of more of an open wave structure. So what that means is less precipitation than what we could be seeing with this event here across Oklahoma. But needless to say, by Sunday morning, the trough axis is pushing through northeast to southwest Oklahoma to Texas. On this particular diagram, when you see this outlook, All of your precipitation is then kind of in this region. It's east of this trough axis. So that means things will be winding down rather quickly by early Sunday morning. All right, so that is the big picture, what's going on upstairs in the upper levels. So below that, temperatures are cold enough to produce some snow from Colorado into Nebraska and Kansas. So we're going to push this through to Saturday morning. All right, so this is, at the time you wake up, this is, now for you early birds, all right, this is 6 a.m. I'm going to be asleep. Don't bother me. I'm going to be sawing some logs. But for those that didn't stay up all night tonight partying, or those that just don't go to bed and still partying, whatever it may be, this is how things ought to look in the morning hours. You do see a mixture of a little bit of freezing rain here in northwest Oklahoma, and then also into Kansas, some sleet here in purple, and then the blue here is snow in northwestern and northern Kansas back into Colorado. So that's kind of how the storm structure looks at the surface when you're painting on the radar picture of the estimated precipitation type. So there's 9 o'clock in the morning there. And here's lunchtime, and if you will notice very carefully, this is Tulsa, this is I-44, so Oklahoma City, down to about Lawton. So you can see the freezing line comes into our vicinity around lunchtime, about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock here in the morning. So any precipitation still falling, even though it may be light, will likely be in the form of some freezing rain, maybe a little bit of sleet out there, with, of course, most of that action up across northern Oklahoma and still on into Kansas. And then as we head further from that in the afternoon, let's see, there's mid-afternoon, just some really light stuff. So probably get some light flurries thrown in at some point once the atmosphere cools down a little bit more. Then we head on into the second part of the wave of the storm. And this is around 9 o'clock in the evening, and you do see this secondary batch of snow coming in from from New Mexico to the Texas Panhandle, and then now into western Oklahoma by Saturday evening around 9 o'clock. And you can see how that moves through central, western, and northern Oklahoma through Saturday night, and then here's Sunday morning, falling apart here across central parts of the state, but continues a little bit now as the system moves to the east. And in northeast Oklahoma and Arkansas blows back up. So Arkansas probably has a little bit better opportunity for some measurable snow out of this secondary wave than Oklahoma does through Sunday afternoon, and that moves on out Sunday evening. So that's how that looks as far as winter precipitation breakout is concerned. Now, of course, the big question is, timing and how much. We'll show that here in just 2 seconds. So first off, let me show you the transition period. So we got showers coming up this afternoon, by the way. So anytime from this point forward, light rain, scattered showers continue to develop. That's what all this is here on the map. So this just shows you it's going to start getting wet and stay wet once the atmosphere saturates a little bit more. All right, that continues off and on tonight. So if you do have some midnight plans, umbrellas, a little light poncho, whatever, to keep you dry. Otherwise, just kind of stay under an overhang. It'll be just enough to be a nuisance. It's not going to be enough to really mess things up, but it'll be mild-ish. I mean, it's still cool. It's upper 50s. So, jacket weather or sweater, but otherwise not terrible. Then as we head into the 4, 5, and 6 o'clock time frame in the morning, like I talked about, here's the zoomed-in view of the freezing rain from Enid to almost Elk City and back up north toward Woodward, changes over to some sleet, and then back into snow in the Panhandle. And this is at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. See the big first wave, really the heavy stuff, moves out by 9 o'clock in the morning. And then we kind of have some residual stuff. Here's 10 o'clock and here's 11 o'clock. And the importance is anything light at this point in time from about Tulsa, Oklahoma City will be on the borderline of some frozen stuff. Then you can see some snow flurry activity kind of continues. Little light blue echoes represents that. And then, even though that will kind of continue off and on for Saturday, remember blustery, windy conditions, cold, wind chill values getting down pretty dangerously low for frostbite concerns. And then here's 6 o'clock in the evening. Here comes that next round of some snow developing out across the western Oklahoma, zooming on into the Oklahoma City metro area around 9 o'clock. Now there's a caveat here I got to mention. This is a look at the NAM model. Earlier we looked at the Canadian. The difference in the details between each model run, the NAM is the further south. All right, it likes this pattern here. The European kind of likes this pattern, and the Canadian kind of likes this pattern. So it kills me because you really can't pinpoint where this thin band of measurable snow is going to be. There's going to be some happy people, and there's going to be some unhappy people. And you see how small that was. You see this? I mean, that's all we're talking about. So to be able to predict the exact placement of this little band, unfortunately, I can't do it. I wish I could. I'd like to and tell you I could, but what good would that do, right? I can tell you the general vicinity in the area, and then fingers crossed that you happen to be lucky and get one, right? That's the way that one goes down. Okay, so precipitation amounts. Now, with the onset of the freezing rain, a little bit of sleet, there will be some ice accumulations with this Saturday morning. The models are going anywhere from a very light glazing here from Oklahoma City and Tulsa to as much as maybe 1/10 to maybe, at worst case, 2/10 of an inch in the hardest hit areas here in western, northwestern Oklahoma and in southeastern Kansas. That was going to be enough to cause some travel trouble spots, at least on the bridges and overpasses. We'll see how the rest of the roadways do, but if you're going to be out and about Saturday morning, just watch for slippery spots. Then as we head into the afternoon and we continue to kind of accumulate the snowfall across Kansas, overall amount should be up anywhere from a half a foot to maybe 10 inches up along the northern border. Southeastern Kansas, a lot of your energy and moisture is wasted in some of that light icing. So the best area of snow is going to be from northeast Kansas, kind of cut the state in half almost, southwest, in the western parts of the state. Whereas Texas Panhandle gets some decent snows and swaths, Oklahoma Panhandle, of course Colorado for sure. And then there's a look at that snow developing here in eastern Arkansas with that secondary wave on Sunday. But here in Oklahoma, kind of a mixture. You're going to get at least a little dusting or some flurry action as a minimum in the gray area. Measurable snow in the blue area. Now, is there enough to build a snowman? We'll see, because remember, a lot of it's going to melt because of the warm grounds. But at least we've got something going on, which is better than nothing, as they say. Okay, so now, severe weather. We do have a threat for that, by the way. Southeast Oklahoma, there is a risk of tornadic activity in the very southeastern tip of the state and also into far northeastern Texas. If you notice, this is the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's barely even in a mention. Same thing for the rest of the body of southeastern Oklahoma. The better parameters in this little corridor here in brown, which is why the Storm Prediction Center does that. The green is just more of a CYA, just in case things get a little going, a little west of the zone, and maybe the models are just slightly off in distance on the parameters. If you do look at the shear and the which is the winds here, and the colors represent the instability. The southeastern quadrant of the state is the best area. Again, this is Oklahoma City. So this is down I-35. This is out east on 240. So the most favorable area is in this quadrant of the state with, again, the sweet spot kind of in this region here as far as any potential tornadic activity. So if you do live in that area of the state, you got friends and family, let them know and tell them to use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. It will alert them if there's going to be any tornadoes developing in their area. The models do predict some rotation within a couple of these thunderstorms. Now that could mean a little bit of hail, could mean wind, it could even be a little brief weak tornado, but needless to say that signal is still there, although it is weak, which is good. I'd like to have a weak signal than a strong signal. Now, timing on this for any type of severe weather, we're going to fast forward here to that time frame. We're looking at about midnight here is the window. You can see most of this in the model data. These stronger storms are down here in southeast Oklahoma, just south and east of McAllister. So that's where the majority of those should be. I did have one blow up here just on the east side of McAllister right around 4 o'clock in the morning. So by far and large, that southeastern quadrant is where that action is going to be. Now here in central Oklahoma, we do have some heavy rainfall moving in. So probably a little bit of lightning with this. It won't be severe though. But what you can see with the heavy rainfall accumulations here, at 6 a.m., keep in mind temperatures around this region are going to be at or below freezing, so that's why you can get those quick accumulations of ice. We could call it flash freezing, so to speak. And there's another little round there of some more storms kind of hanging in there. Northeastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma through 10 o'clock in the morning, kind of a secondary wave that then moves through Arkansas. So yeah, southern Arkansas, again, you guys are also in that threat for severe weather. Okay, so all that said and done, let's take a look at temperatures. Now again, tonight, we're going to be into the 60s this afternoon, kind of like where we are now. Let's see, let's go to the midnight hour right here. So about 59 degrees here in Oklahoma City, 58 in Tulsa, so pretty good temperature-wise for New Year's Eve celebrations. You can see that cold weather up to the north, though, coming in from the Kansas, moving on into Oklahoma. 6 a.m., so there's that freezing line right about the I-35 Kansas border, stretching to just northwest side of town of Enid, and then back out west from there, south of Woodward, and of course into the Panhandle. So any precipitation falling in this zone will be in the form of ice, all right? And then we have until 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. You can see temperatures in Oklahoma City are already starting to drop. We're getting to the 20s, and yes, these are single digits and teens up here. and the Panhandle region. As we head into the lunchtime, there's 11 o'clock and then 12 o'clock. So you do see temperature line below freezing, this little blue line here, from Bartlesville east of Stillwater to Oklahoma City, back south and west from there. So any light precipitation at all following will be in the form that looks like some sleet or freezing rain. And then, of course, that continues back up north and west. And if we do look at I'll come back to this map in a second, but this is a look at the forecast sounding profile. This is what I look at during severe weather. So when you have a nose like this, this is I'll put this right here. This is my freezing line in the atmosphere going up, all right, with height from surface to the top. And when I do that, I look for this red line, which is the temperature, to be either above the freezing or below the freezing. Well, here it's above freezing at a few thousand feet, and then here it goes below freezing at a few thousand feet. So what that happens is that any rainfall that falls through this layer right here, this last layer on the way down to the surface, is what causes it to refreeze. And I'll look for the temperature dew point in the wet bulb down there to see if we're going to have a problem. And this is about 10 o'clock in the morning here in Oklahoma City. So that indicates at that point in time we should start to have a little bit of a problem as far as precipitation starting to freeze. All right, here's a look at another view of that. And what I'm looking for in this is where I see omega, which is lift. All these red contours. And I see it juxtaposed with the snow growth layer up here, which is really the humidity saturation layer, and some lift. Also, so there's all that stuff going on here, and this is for early Saturday morning. And then what happens is, if you notice, we dry out here, so there's no moisture in the mid or upper levels for a while after we get past Saturday morning. Now we still have this humidity down here at the surface, so which means it's going to be cloudy and drizzly, flurry, freezing drizzle, that kind of thing. But then you focus right here, and this is when that secondary batch of energy comes along, the upper level jet stream, and this is where we have our chance for measurable snow here, as this omega overrides the snow growth layer and all that extra humidity and moisture, and then that will fall through the layer of the atmosphere to hit the surface. So that from about, what did we talk about? 6 p.m. is when this layer starts to saturate and lift starts to occur through about midnight. So it's a 6-hour window here in central Oklahoma for that activity to commence. All right, back to the flat view here. We'll take in for the rest of your New Year's Day. Temperatures falling into the 20s. So if you've been watching me the last few days, you already know this is coming, so it hasn't changed. In the evening, we'll be at 6 p.m. We're at 20 degrees here in Oklahoma City. We're in the teens up here in northwest Oklahoma. And then as we head into the overnight period, let's drop here to 6 a.m. for Sunday, 13 degrees here in Oklahoma City, 8 in Enid and Ponca City. Liberal, Kansas is at 4. So really brutal stuff. Now in the afternoon, we will speak, Aaron. We will rebound from the 20s to the 20s. We might hit 30 in between. It's going to be a stretch. Every day the models have predict a little bit colder each run. So again, the weekend is not going to be pleasant. And then if you talk about the wind chill value with that, let's do that here real quick as well. Just to show you, wind chill values drop off. This is lunchtime. We're into the teens, single digits north. In the purple areas below 0. So northwest Oklahoma, 6 o'clock, to midnight. Whoa, get back here. There's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So it feels like we're it's barely above 0 here in central Oklahoma and Oklahoma City metro area. Feels like -7 in Enid. So it just doesn't get any better. As we head into midnight, more of this purple encompasses the state, which is all wind chill values below 0. So you do not want to be outdoors for any length of time because frostbite can occur. As we head into Sunday, here's 12 o'clock, and then here's 6 o'clock. So the winds do die down. As a result, the wind chill values recover closer to the actual air temperatures. All right, here's a look at your extended outlook here in Oklahoma City. And, use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go, for your specific number in your town. You can get on the Apple, Google Play. But what it shows is that front that comes through for tonight. So ignore these temperatures here on Saturday. They'll be falling during the day. And then Sunday's pretty good here on the morning low and high. We do rebound things a little bit. Overnight lows still stay pretty chilly. I'm telling you, this extended pattern here, every time I do an update, I look at the extended outlook, they go all over the place. They go from this to worst to a little better to back and forth. So there is a chance for another Arctic outbreak of cold air, at least for a couple of days in this time frame from January 6th, 7th, and 8th. I really haven't had time to look into that. Been too focused on the winter storm this coming weekend. All right. Well, that was a mouthful. But there was a lot to talk about. I like to talk about the weather when there's actually some weather to talk about. I do not like it when it's boring. If I did, I would live in San Diego, and that would drive me crazy as a weatherman. I couldn't do it. I don't know how they do it out there. I couldn't say sunny and 78 every day. It'd drive me up a wall. But here we get all the fun stuff. So there you go. I see some more stars, by the way, Robert and Deborah, so thank you very much. And Happy New Year to everyone out there chiming in and wishing me and Jody a Happy New Year. And little Larry, of course. Appreciate that as always. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you're a Facebook fan subscriber and or using Subscribestar or YouTube fan subscriptions or good grief Patreons, there's a lot of ways you can support me and what I do for you guys. So if you'd like to join in, there's a slot on my website, aarontuttle.com, where you can find out more information there. And then I also, if you haven't noticed, because I know not everything that you post on Facebook will show on your feed. If you do go to my Facebook wall and you scroll in a little bit, you're going to see a link, a way to get my diet guide. So a lot of people have timed in for that. So if you do like that, just go into that post down below, a couple of places below these videos, and you'll see where you can get a diet guide. So if you are wanting to say, you know what, it's New Year's, it's time for that New Year's resolution, and I want to get in better shape, better health. That whole COVID thing really messed things up, and I got to give my body a fighting chance to get through this. If this is going to go on forever, then you want to make sure you do diet and exercise part of the equation, and I can help you out with that and get results really fast, and kind of help you out with guides on how to eat. A lot of people aren't taught how to eat. Believe it or not, it's really strange. When you're a kid, they give you the food pyramid, which is totally garbage. So I don't know who designed that stuff, but it's fine. I guess it'll there's categories. You can see that the bare minimum effort that would be the food pyramid. You want to be a supreme athlete, you throw that thing away, and then there's everything else in between. So I give you everything else in between. That way you can pick how you want to do it. But yeah, you want to do that just so you can get better health. Because I'm over the whole 20 and 21 years. So none of this, everybody trapped at home, stuff in their face with takeout food. That's the worst thing we could have ever done for our health. So this will kind of teach you guidance on how to eat better that you can get from the store and that kind of stuff, and change your life a little bit in that aspect. And it'll do it really fast. So we're talking just my biggest losers up to 75 pounds in about 4 months. And you're going, that's a lot of weight. I said, yeah, it is a lot of weight. So if you do everything I put in my diet guide, it's just going to fall off. And, it's always cute. I'll sometimes get messages from people, so I don't want to lose too much. I got news for you. You can only lose what your body has to lose. You can't lose past that. It has built-in mechanisms of preservation to save you. It likes to be at certain set points. So if you get in a situation where you only want to lose 10 pounds, no problem. You want to lose 100 pounds? No problem. It's whatever you have to lose. Your body's smart. It knows. And then I do get a comment about the, and this is unfortunate, but we're getting better in technology, and that is the loose skin, right? So I know a lot of people that when they do get into the obese stage and they do go on a diet, start to lose weight, they get that loose skin. All right, so this is where I have to preach to you a little bit, but I'll also give you some good news. Obviously, the first thing is don't put yourself in the situation, right? But I know things happen. You can't help it. Maybe you get surgery, we get COVID, whatever. I get all that. So what goes in your favor is youth and genetics. In other words, the younger you are, the better genes you have, the quicker that skin bounces back, all right? It constricts again. Now, the older you are and the longer you've been underneath that stress of stretch, the harder it is for it to come back. And if you get past a certain point, it won't. In that case, you have to have surgery to remove the excess skin, and or if it's not too bad, you can try some of the new laser treatments, which will help to kind of shrink that skin a little bit. But that's it. That's all there is. So the best advice I have for you is don't get to that point no matter what you can. And then know that if you're probably under the age of 30, you have time on your side, it'll probably all shrink back. If you're over 30, every year matters. So if you're 50 and you're hoping for all that skin to shrink back, it won't happen. But don't let that be a discouragement to getting into better health. Don't say, well, if my skin's not shrinking back, well then I'm just going to stay, 400 pounds. Well, that's obviously not healthy if you want to live long term and live healthier on less medication, all that kind of stuff. So it's up to you. Everybody has their own how they want it to go out. So if you want to go out that way, go for it. I'm going to go out pretty active, but that's just what I choose. It's better in my pocketbook that way. And if you're saying, well, food's expensive, well, that is true, but so is surgery and medication. So you got to do a balancing act. I'd rather pick the food at the first end than avoid the surgery and the medication. It's the best I can. Remember, you can't control everything in life, but certain things that you can control, make sure you do that. So if that's something that interests you, get my diet guide. The link again is below this video on my wall for my AT's weather wall on Facebook. There's a big picture of me doing a kettlebell swing. And I post that not to brag. I post that just to show you that I know what I'm doing. And that's the only reason. I told that to Jody. She's like, well, I was like, well, I said, anytime you see diet, fitness stuff on, exercise stuff on TV, commercial, print ads, they never show you someone who's extremely out of shape to pitch that product, right? Or that whatever they're doing. They always show the most fit and healthy people. Well, because you want people that live that lifestyle because it works. And so it's typical advertising. So that's the reason why I did it. It's not to say, look at me. That's not me. So you can look at this right here. If you want to do that, I care less. And then I don't live that lifestyle 100% of the time. I know, it's hard to believe. So, for example, in this time of the year from November into December, almost 2 months, I take off. I take off from the gym a little bit, and I eat whatever I want. And that includes a lot of foods I shouldn't be eating, but boy, they're so good, right? And I just kind of relax. And then first year, getting back to that mindset, okay, I'm like everybody else. Let's get it back in shape. Spring's coming around. Summer's coming around. Now there are some people in the fitness industry that never take a day off, and they would never put a single thing in their mouth that is has anything from sugar to you name it, processed, whatever. Hey, more power to them. That is some serious dedication. I'm not that dedicated. I like to enjoy life a little bit. So anyways, that's how I approach it, and you can do that too if you want. To me, that's a healthy way of doing it versus one extreme or the other. But anyway, so this kind of got off the whole weather thing into the diet world, and only did that because it's New Year's Eve, right? It's time to start talking about getting into shape again. All right, so listen, if you're late and you just kind of joined in, you can watch the replay on this. You can tell your friends and family about the replay. That way they can always check it. They don't get in live. Oh, and then real quick, I didn't post this, did I? If you guys on Facebook, you can hit this link I just posted. I mentioned this earlier, and I forget, squirrel. I got too many things on in my head. To get a direct notification from me when I do go live, you can sign up to do that. And that way you don't miss a broadcast. Now, I do not plan on broadcasting for the rest of today. So this is it. This was my whole live to talk about the weather. If I'm wrong at this point, well, so be it. I will check in, though, probably New Year's Day. We'll see how things go. I'll do a live or at least make a post, the graphics, something like that, so that you can kind of know what's going on there. But I do not expect any changes from this point forward. There may be a slim shot for you to be able to build a tiny, maybe not so clean snowman off an inch of snow or so. This is pretty sad, but hey, you know what? Kids don't care. They'll take it. And that's going to be here over central Oklahoma with that secondary round that comes in Saturday evening. So when they get up Sunday morning, as long as the ground temps haven't, melted too much of it, there'll be at least something there for them in some little strip here across Oklahoma. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so listen, I'm going to get out of here. I got some things to do for my New Year's Eve preparations. You guys have a great rest of your day. And if I don't talk to you, don't see you, Happy New Year. And we'll see you all back here in 2022. Take care.